Hello guys and welcome back. Finally, after 6 months of waiting, the car is finally here. I know it's been a long time since I put out a video, but yes, I'm still alive and we finally now have the car. So I picked the car up on Thursday in the afternoon. Today's now Sunday and the car already looks like a mess. So we took the car out on some tracks on Friday, so the day after I got it, and unfortunately ran into a little bit of an issue at the start, where for whatever reason four-wheel drive is not engaging. I had a four-wheel drive light on the dash, and me just being so excited to drive it, didn't even read the manual to see what that even means. But if a four-wheel drive light comes up on the dash, it means that there's a fault in the four-wheel drive system. But we pulled fuses and checked fuses and to see if everything was working, and sure enough everything was fine, there was no dramas. So after we did that, the light went away and it seemed to have no dramas after that, so I assumed that the four-wheel drive was working. So I did majority of the tracks in two-wheel drive, and it pulled through no worries, even with stock tyres. Scraped up the side steps a little bit. I mean, there's a little bit of a dent here that you can see, a little bit bowed out, but apart from that, nothing. Very capable vehicle, very surprising. And then yesterday we took it out to the beach, did some tracks that lead down onto the beach, and worked no dramas at all, and was very, very capable, surprisingly. Did an amazing job. So very impressed with it, even with the stock tyres on. So very happy. So this is the 2022 model Nissan Patrol. So it's got the updated grille, different vents, and all the badges have now changed to the new Nissan ones. So this style now, sort of like the white lettering and the white around in the inside of the Nissan badge. So I think they look better than the old ones. I think it suits Patrol pretty well. So yes, finally have it after about 6 months of waiting. She's looking pretty dirty at the moment. We'll be getting a wash today. I have to wait 3 days to be able to wash it, so today's the day that I'll be able to. She'll be nice and shiny again. Few scratches already, but that's what it's designed for. I mean, look at this light here, it's copped a bit. I mean, a majority of it's just dust, but there is a few scratches and whatnot in it, but easily enough to be able to buff out. Like, you can see one there slightly, it's a scratch. But you don't really realise just how massive these cars are until you start driving them on pretty tight tracks. Like, they are huge, so wide. You just got to be careful and go slow and make sure you don't hit anything. Such a capable car, really impressive. So we'll start in the engine bay. Pretty filthy in here too, so interior is going to need a bit of a wipe down. So the big VK56, let's check her out. Here she is, the beating heart. So that's obviously the typical Nissan badge. Obviously just a bit nicer on the 2022 Patrols. Looks a bit better, I reckon. But yes, a massive VK56 5.6 litre V8, making claimed 300 kilowatts and I think 560 newton meters. So certainly no slouch, and you can definitely feel that power when you're driving it. I can idle through just about anything, up anything, with like no throttle input at all, and it just pulls through so easily. Plenty of tech in these things, so yes, very, very capable car. Very impressed, actually. Very impressed. Now, my original plan was I wanted to do a bonnet entry snorkel because no one has done one before, but now I can see why no one has done one before. So there's all this fuse relays and harnesses and shit that's plugged into this. So yeah, that's going to be a challenge, and I'm not even sure if it'll be doable. This bracket here can be cut, and then cut a section out and then weld it together so it's closer to the guard. Might be able to tuck it up a bit closer under there. Same with that there as well. Should hopefully be able to cut it and fit it up a lot neater. And yeah, I don't know, maybe just reposition some things to be able to fit a snorkel through here. I reckon they look really tough, and it saves hacking up a guard, although you do have to hack up a bonnet, so I mean there is that. So yeah, obviously it's sucking in its air from here, so it is pretty high, its intake from standard. We did a bit of a deep river crossing yesterday and made me a little bit concerned, but yeah, no dramas at all, just pulled through easily as. Apparently it wasn't that deep, but it seemed pretty deep when I was in the car, considering how tall it is. So obviously typically your snorkel would come in here and then into the airbox, but yeah, with the bonnet entry it comes in this way, so it'll be a custom airbox, which I was going to do anyway, so didn't really matter. But yes, we'll speak to Ryan about that and see what he thinks, if he thinks it's going to be doable or not, because there's going to be a bit of work involved in trying to relocate all that mess, even if it is possible. So yeah, we'll see how we go, but maybe a mid-entry snorkel into the guard will be an option if we can't do it. But these vents here, they're actually functional. I mean, you probably can't really see in there too well, but you can see light through there now. But yeah, they probably do help with venting a bit of the bonnet heat. So they obviously don't go to anything, but they're just sort of like heat extractors, I suppose. Lets hot air out and a bit of cool air will probably get in. Runs extremely cool. The radiator on these things is massive. Goes like all the way down. Let's see if we can get inside here. So it's got a massive trans cooler, obviously power steering cooler, and the condenser obviously, and yeah, massive radiator that yeah, literally like goes down to here. So there's a little bit of grass in there, but she stayed pretty clean. Obviously be able to get all that out with a good wash. But yeah, runs very cool even up here in hot Queensland. She doesn't have any issues, and even with the stock exhaust sounds pretty mint too, especially on the sand yesterday. Geez, it was sounding good. But yes, obviously the exhaust will be another thing to do. Now notice all this foam around the cooling pack, you could say. Now that's just to help keep air from escaping out into the engine bay, obviously when the thermofan's on, and help to trap air and actually push it into the radiator and all the cooling parts there, so you can actually get maximum cooling, which is obviously what you want. So yeah, it sort of helps, a bit of insulation to stop this hot engine from heating up the radiator too much. You can see it's a pretty thick radiator. What would that be, maybe 2 inch, maybe 2.5, something like that. So maybe 2 core. So yeah, decent from factory, that's for sure. Pretty big battery, which is always good. When we go through the car a bit later on, I'll show you all the 12-volt sockets and stuff, and all its power inclusions. But yeah, it's pretty well jammed in there. It'll be a pain to do spark plugs on, because that's obviously all your ignition coils on the bank there. So yeah, everything's pretty tight. There's some sort of an actuator there if there's something. I've got no clue. It's all learning and all new for me at the moment. So yes, there's plenty to read about and learn on a new vehicle, like always. So yes, plenty of pretty interesting times ahead, service-wise. So yeah, that'll be fun. Obviously, I won't be doing services on it for a few years, obviously, because it's got 5 years warranty. So I'll have to go to a mechanic. Probably go to Nissan for the first few, and then go to a good mechanic after that. So if you guys have any recommendations for a good mechanic in Townsville that knows these things and isn't a rip-off, I'd like to hear about it. So yeah, she's a pretty interesting little beast. So this will probably be 1 day turboed, hopefully. So yeah, that'll make it even quicker. It is pretty quick, standard. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but it does launch off the line pretty well. It's no slouch, that's for sure. So yeah, good match up with the VK, I think. Alright, so moving into the car now. I'm sure many of you people are well accustomed to the interior in these things. Look, when I took it for a test drive, I wasn't overly thrilled with the interior of the car, but now owning one, I actually don't really mind. I mean, the wood grain's going to go. I have wrap that I'm going to wrap that with, so that'll be a later tutorial for people who want to pay thousands of dollars to get people to wrap their cars. Yeah, no, just don't. It's not hard, and it's pretty simple to do, and it's cheap when you do it yourself. The wrap I bought $50 for a couple meters of it, and I just bought a heat gun, just a Ryobi one, $150. So I mean, what, $200, and you can wrap the car yourself if you don't already have a heat gun. So why would you not? So I mean, I'm all about saving money and doing things myself, because it's the best way to learn, and obviously then you can spend that money on other things that you can chuck on your car. So much better idea for me. So we'll start off with the infotainment system. A lot of people rag on it for being shit and this and that, and it doesn't have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto and all that sort of business. For me, yeah, a bit of a bummer. With a 2022 car, you'd think it would definitely have that, but it doesn't really bother me. The screen's a little bit on the smaller side, but it's fine. You can easily see it, and everything's there, accessible. Shows you a heap of info. You can monitor so many different things. The TPMS is awesome as well. The tyre pressure monitoring system, so you can monitor your tyre pressures, which is handy. That reminds me, I've got to pump mine up today. So yeah, it's pretty decent for what it is. Although I probably will end up changing it into the future, because it just looks a bit dated, and probably doesn't really belong in such a expensive vehicle. I mean, it's got a disc slot, really? Like, who uses a disc now? It's all on your phone. So yeah, that'll definitely have to go. So we've got two USB ports down here and a 12-volt socket for charging. So I mean, you could charge up to 3 phones here if you really wanted to, or 4 if you had a double charging plug. And then you've also got all your blanks as well. So there's 4 of them, 2 on either side, so you can plug in switches and stuff. You could have a UHF in here, and then you could have perhaps winch in and out there, and you've got options over here for whatever you want as well, which is pretty cool. Dual zone climate control. Oh well, it's tri-zone really, because the rear passengers can also change their temperature and climate settings as well, so that's pretty cool. Bulk storage here. There's another 12-volt socket here with what should be cigarette lighter, but we don't smoke anymore these days, or you shouldn't. So that's also handy to have. Coin slot, and then a little miscellaneous spot for maybe, I don't know, small Red Bulls. And then obviously you've got 2 more cup holders there, like I said before. Bit of a shame with them. They're just massive, and your drink doesn't really hold in there very well. So, you know, if you're forward driving or you're going through some tight corners, the car likes to really, you can feel it lean in the corners a lot because of that hydraulic body motion control. So yeah, your drinks, you know, they're slopping around a bit. Not so bad if it's got a lid, but if it's a can, well, yeah, good luck. And then just another storage area here for miscellaneous things. And then we'll move over to our 4 drive controls. So it's got hill ascent and hill descent control. Well, when I say hill ascent control, once the car senses it's parked on a hill, it'll give you 2 seconds to move your foot from the brake to the accelerator, and if you're not quick enough in that time, then the car will roll backwards, but it will hold for them 2 seconds, so you just got to be quick. Obviously, factory rear diff lock, bit of a weird diff lock, whereas I'm not too sure about the specifics of it, but you can get a kit that makes it so the diff lock is actually on when you want it on. I think this does some funky stuff where it'll be on if it actually needs to be on, even when you push it. Obviously, traction control, auto, which is basically 2 high, although if it senses slip, it'll go into 4 high and send power to the wheels that it needs to. Obviously, there's the dedicated 4 high, and then you go into 4 low, and we also have 4 modes. Obviously, it's always in on-road when you're driving on the bitumen, sand, snow, and rock. I've had it in sand and rock. Sand just makes the throttle response a little bit more snappier, but less so than the on-road. And rock makes the throttle response a bit more doughier, so you have a bit more control over the vehicle, so you can control it when you're going over rocks and when you're going over bumps and stuff. You're not smacking the accelerator accidentally and doing that sort of thing. Snow, I haven't played with snow yet, but I would assume it'll probably make the accelerator a bit doughy. Just, yeah, when you're slipping and sliding and whatnot, but we'll see what that's all about maybe in years to come when I finally get down to Victoria. So yeah, I think it also changes the way the transmission shifts as well, but I always have it in Tiptronic. So I'm not too sure about that, but I'm sure it does. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's if it really does much else than that, and if it's actually really useful. I just put it in whatever and yeah, hope for the best. Now, it's one annoying thing is it's got a bloody foot operated handbrake. Not really a fan of that because I always forget to take it off. So yeah, a bit annoying, but yeah, anyway. Not that there's really much room here to have a conventional handbrake or even an electronic one. Electronic one's shit, so I would prefer this over that, but still, yeah, a bit annoying. Obviously, push button start, which is nice, and a lot of controls on your steering wheel as well. Phone call answering, volume, go back on the display, change different options, and obviously a source button. Got a cancel over here, and you've got your cruise and changing. It's obviously adaptive, so you can change the distance that it will start to slow down when it senses traffic. That's just sensor stuff. And then there's another sensor button down there. Obviously, you've got all your window controls, all auto as well, which is quite nice. Lock button for the windows, lock button for the doors, mirror fold from the cab, which is nice. So if you're in tight tracks, you can fold their mirrors in, and obviously a mirror adjustment as well. Now on top of the dash, we've got our controls for changing dash settings and brightness as well, which is always handy. Obviously everything's all nicely leather. Seats are nice leather with a bit of perforation holes in here. So yeah, no, very nice. Pleated leather on the door cards, which I either love or hate. I don't really care because I don't really look at it. There's a lot going on when you're driving the car, and it's so massive that you're sort of just concentrating on the road. Now, the rear vision mirror, it's obviously got that on button there that you can see. So that allows you to actually use the rear camera as your rear vision mirror if you have a lot of people in the back and you can't really see. So that's pretty handy. Obviously, we've got our sunglasses holder, lights, and then absolutely whopping sun visors with adjustable cards on the side. So if that sun's in an annoying position, obviously mirrors, so you can check yourself out. And yeah, they obviously slide out. They're massive. They block the sun really well, actually, so that's always good. In the side here, you've got your lane monitoring. So if you've got a car in your blind spot, that'll come up orange, so you can tell there's actually a car there. So yeah, plenty of space, pretty comfortable. I think I need to muck around with my seat adjustment a bit more to sort of make it a bit more comfortable. Again, lots of learning and stuff that I need to do to set it up how I want it, but yeah, comfortable when driving. Seats are huge, and the driving position's quite nice. That massive bonnet, I mean, this is pretty much my view, and I can't really see much when forward driving, so probably sitting up a little bit higher would be nice, just so you can see where you're pointing your wheels. Although, to combat that, you can use your camera, and that will show you the camera that's either in both mirrors in the front of the car, or it'll give you a bird's eye view, which is pretty handy when you're doing some technical stuff. You can see where your wheels are placed and any ruts or anything like that that you might be dropping into unexpectedly. So that's pretty cool. We'll just see if the accessories will come on. Here we go. So Nissan comes up. All right, so obviously Bluetooth audio. The screen is touchscreen, and you can also use the dial as well. So yeah, it's up to you how you want to use this. But like I said, the screen's easy enough to read, and it's plenty bright enough. I've never had any dramas seeing it, so that's always good. Got all our settings and stuff. There's plenty of things to adjust and and do with. So yeah, you could spend hours in here doing setting things up and doing things. So moving to our apps, we can see there's an app garage, which is just like all your little monitoring things. Yes, so yeah, we can go through this and change all our things. Driving performance is pretty interesting. Fuel flow, fuel consumption, and range, so that's pretty cool to monitor. And then we've got like G-force and stuff as well, so pretty cool. Don't know if it's really necessary, but anyway, we've got it. That's your info, so fuel economy and all that sort of business. So this shows us, it comes up with a compass and all your tyre pressures as well, even though you can just select your tyre pressures differently. Different way of doing that. This comes up and shows you what your climate setting is doing when you press status, and it also shows you all these other different things. So you've sort of got a split screen, so that's all right, and obviously your climate as well. Now, one thing that's a little bit annoying is that you can't skip a song. Well, I haven't found out how to, at least. So yeah, not sure what the go is there. But the aircon is bloody cold. As you can see, I have it on 23, even on a hot day. And even with the blower down that far, it's freezing. Very nice. So yes, keeps you nice and cool. So as you can see, I've got about half a tank, and it reckons about 460 kilometers of range, although it'll be definitely more than that once I start driving around. It'll probably be about a bit over 500. It was about 570 yesterday when I was on half a tank, so yeah, should be able to get at least 1200 k's to a tank, I'm hoping, because fuel's very expensive. It's got a 140 litre main tank, and there is room for an auxiliary if you wish to. but for now 140 litres is plenty. Like I said, it'll get me definitely a lot of range. We've obviously got our temperature down in the left corner, as well as our battery voltage, and our oil temp. So it's nice to monitor that. And sits bloody cool, like I was saying before, with that massive radiator. It'll sit probably around, like around here, like just above cold. So I suppose it's probably like 90 degrees, probably operating temperature. As you can see, 327k. So done a bit of driving in it since Thursday. So yeah, it had 30k's on it when I left the dealer. So we've done about 300k's in that time. So yeah, I'll just show you. I don't know if it'll come up or not, but go rock. Hang on. No, it won't do it when the car's not on. But yeah, that's where you can see what, if you're in full high or whatever, and your four-wheel drive mode as well. So yeah, pretty cool. Turn that off and we'll move into the back. All right, so where the seat currently sits now, that's my driving position. And you can see just how much room I have here, even on the passenger side, just how much room this car has got. So you've got 2 charging points either side for your passengers, and then you've also got all your climate controls there, and you can also open the storage box from the rear, which is pretty cool. So we've got feet vents down here, which is quite nice, and also massive big vents up in the roof as well, which is also very nice. As you can see, it's just like a couch in here. Like, you could lay down in here and go to sleep quite easily, and then fold the seats back, and you've basically got a bed. Obviously very comfortable in the back, plenty of space. You can easily fit 3 adults in here, no dramas at all. So yeah, I mean, what more could you want? Like I told you, this car is massive, and it really is. Like, that's my full arm stretch, and I'm just able to touch the driver's seat. Like, I can't touch the passenger, I can't touch the center console from just sitting in the seat, and it looks like it's miles away from the dash. So yeah, absolutely massive car. Obviously we've got all our little drinks compartments and stuff down the side, as well as center cup holders as well in the back. These do fold down, so you can actually put decent sized drinks in there. So yeah, rear seat area is absolutely huge, which is nice if you've got passengers. Alright, so rear storage, as you can imagine, huge as well. Obviously they're the very rear seats that you can unfold with the seat belts up in the roof. Is that a spare seat belt? What is that? Don't know. And yeah, heaps of room. These unfortunately do not fold flat, which is a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. Cup holders again in the rear, tie down points in the floor as well as in the side. These will be removed, and I'll make a false floor to put in it, so just we can fit some nice drawers in. Now, under this little section here, we push this in and lift up. We've got a little bit of storage, which let's just see what we can fit in. First aid kit, a little bit of recovery gear, another first aid kit, and there we go. So you can fit all that in there. Not a heap of storage, but there's a little bit there just to tuck things out of the way, so that's always good. Now, underneath this, you lift up this little bit here, and under there is all your jack and all your tools and stuff. A little bit of sand from yesterday that I got to vacuum up. So yeah, heaps of storage in there, and again another 12-volt socket, which you could probably run a fridge off, although I believe they're not really designed to. I don't think the amperage of the fuse is really up to it, but people have run 90-litre fridges off that. Obviously it runs off the main battery, so you have to be careful about that sort of thing, but apparently people have gotten 3 days of running a fridge non-stop and been able to start the car. So, I mean, must be alright. So yeah, boot room is huge. This is the TI, so I don't have the auto close tailgate, but I don't really care because they're slow and something to break. So yeah, not really concerned about that. So you close it, and then it has a little motor in there, and then it locks it. So you're not going to have to worry about it flopping around and whatever. So again, this is sort of like a brushed sort of chrome finish, and this will all be wrapped eventually. Rear bar looks pretty good, although it'll come off eventually and have a different rear bar on it. So we'll move under the car and we find our spare wheel, and there's also some sort of a maybe recovery point, which is actually bolted to the chassis. So this you could actually use as a recovery point if you really had to, although I will put actual recovery points on this thing, actual rated ones, because yes, I don't really trust that. As you can see, a little bit of a dent on there. Took it on some yes, pretty interesting tracks for a stock vehicle, especially when it was in two-wheel drive. Now, the underside of the car has been coated in a rust prevention stuff, so we hopefully don't have to worry about rust for a little while. It is all under warranty, so if it's out, well, then yeah, not my problem. Now, obviously, it's an independent suspension vehicle, so coils all around, and yeah, it drives very, very nicely. So obviously we've got CVs everywhere, something to brake. They are massive, but yes, they definitely do brake. Obviously our lower control arm and upper control arm and all that sort of business. These will be getting replaced with some billet ones into the future, because these are shit and they do bend, crack, and can just knock everything out of alignment when that happens, obviously, so that's not much good. Move down, here's our diff, rear diff, pretty massive. It's obviously got its cooling vents to help keep it cool as much as possible. And yes, diff bushes, twin bush rear, so they'll be fun to replace when they no doubt flog out. There's our fuel tank with a bit of a bash plate on it, which has got a few little dents and scratches in it, so thank goodness that's there. Our massive tail shaft, that thing is humongous. Looks like a 2000 horsepower bloody tail shaft for a Falcon. That thing is huge. Can't really appreciate it on the camera, but I promise you the thing is massive. Stock exhaust system for now. I was wanting to unbolt it, but everything's welded, so that sucks. And moving into the wheel well, we can see our HBMC system, which is the hydraulic body motion control. So these are all you know, adjusted by the computer, and hydraulic pressures and stuff to make a comfortable ride. But yes, seems to do a good job. Obviously shitty aluminium plasticky side steps, which are a bit crap, and then we've got massive springs in the front, which it needs for that massive VK, which you can see the block from in there. Obviously everything's bloody filthy, so yes, it'll be cleaned very shortly. Nice little scratch on my new wheels, so that's always good. Here's our tyre pressure monitoring sensor in here, which need to be swapped over if you put aftermarket wheels on, or you can buy them and then I think Nissan recalibrate them or something. So yeah, make sure that your tyre place doesn't break these, otherwise you'll be back to Nissan. Massive calipers, massive big rotors, obviously to stop this big behemoth. They are huge, can't remember what they are, like 390 on the front or something ridiculous. So yeah, plenty of stopping power. And then we obviously just have Well, they might be twin piston on the rear, I think. Plenty of stopping power, that's for sure. The rears are also massive too. Now, just driving it stock with the stock tyres, departure and aperture angles. It's not too bad. Bit surprised that I didn't scrape it a lot of places. Obviously being independent, instead of a live axle, articulation isn't you know, a massive thing that these are renowned for, although they definitely do, not as much as a live axle. So but still, they still do all right. Now, speaking of mods, the Patrol will definitely be getting some. As I mentioned before, I'll have different wheels and tyres. It'll have an exhaust, snorkel, sliders and bull bar. And obviously bull bar have winch and probably just a light bar on it. It'll obviously have a UHF. But apart from that, it won't really have too much for a while. I'm not really interested in doing a lift for now, just because of that HBMC system, and that's annoying to lift. Bit of a process and is expensive. But like I said, I'll put billet lower arms in just for the strength. And then I've got to get a tow bar as well. And yeah, obviously put a roof rack on and whatnot. But yeah, apart from that, not really too much I've got to do. It'll obviously be a turbo one day, but that'll be down the future. I like how it's got black on the windows and also on the pillars, which is nice, although it's all chrome around here, which I'll have to take off somehow and probably wrap that, maybe. I'm not sure if I want to just yet. I'll definitely do door handles, but yeah, I'm not too sure if I want to do them just yet, but probably just sort of gauge it as we go along. I don't know how difficult these will be to take off, so yeah, we'll see how we go. But yeah, very happy with it. I'm glad it's finally here. It's taken so long, considering I was expecting it in December, then April, and then March, but then we got it sort of mid-February. So yes, very, very, very happy. So yeah, that's my little review and introduction to 62 WLD, which I wanted to be WLD 62, but somebody else has already got that, so whatever. So yeah, this is the new rig now, and expect a lot more videos out about it very shortly. Now, let me know down below if you guys would like to see me doing a bit of forward driving in this thing. I'd definitely be keen to do some videos of that. So yeah, let me know what you guys want to see down below. Do you want me to do a heap of instructional videos on how to do things and how to work on your car? Because I know a heap of people just don't work on them for whatever reason. Plenty of people do, of course, but I mean, people just take them to mechanics and you get them to do everything, which obviously is fine. If you don't know what you're doing, definitely take it to a mechanic if you don't know, because you'll end up breaking something. But a great way to learn is just by doing it. And I mean, there's not a lot that you can really break if you just be careful and do some research beforehand of what you're actually trying to do. Like, just even like minor things, you know, if you've got an older Patrol that, you know, its warranty's expired now, you know, get in there and change your rotors and pads, and, you know, take your wheels off and do that sort of thing. Change your oil and spark plugs. You know, it's not a massive job to do, it's not overly hard. Yeah, just get in and do it, because it's all part of the fun of learning. So yeah, I'll definitely be keen to show you guys how all that stuff goes down and how to do it. So yes, all this is scratched, lovely. So yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed the little review and introduction of the car. I look forward to putting out a heap more videos on this thing. I'll probably do up another one today. I might do door handles, might wrap them. So yeah, that'll be good. So yeah, I'm back, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.